On today's episode of Watch JR Go, the Turo update I didn't want to make. What is going on, guys? I'm Watch JR Go, and today, like I said, we are going to talk about Turo again because we have 4 cars for Turo now, and one of them is like halfway across the country, the Dart, obviously, which has gone all over the country. A quick update on that car. First, it makes the most money in the fleet. It's been literally all over the US since I bought it. I think I bought it with 103,000 miles or something. It has 109,000 miles on it. It's been like 3 weeks. What on earth? Everybody rents the Dart and drives it forever. It's been to Houston, it's been to Iowa, it's been to Minneapolis. It's just all over the place all the time. So the Fiat is leaving in just a few minutes. That's the update on that. I had to take the remote start off the Fiat. I had found the DIDN module in the dash that controlled the remote start to the car. I think it uses OBD2 to actually pick up RPM if the car is running and a few other things like that before the remote start can do its magic. Obviously, you have to have an RPM signal somehow. It used to be TAC, but now you can't just pull a TAC signal. You have to pull it off the CAN bus. So, or just read it with OBD2 live data, basically. So that's how they were confirming that the car was running. Well, Jake and I were out driving it, and it started like randomly going into ESC off, and I pulled out that module, and it like instantly fixed the car. So that might have been why I got it cheap. It's running out for the first time, like I said here, in about 30 minutes. That guy's coming to pick it up. Hopefully it works out great for him. I think it will. Obviously, new tires, new fluids, and detailed, should be ready to roll. Now, the Porsche Cayenne really just turned into my daily driver because I love it. I hate to say that I love a base model Porsche. I rail against base model Porsches. I don't think they should exist. But I bought a base model Cayenne that was super, super cheap, $23,000, and I daily drive it. I love it more than most of my cars, honestly. It is still for rent on Turo, but no one's ever rented it because I priced it where it belongs. The Cayenne's $150 a day. The Fiat is like $31 a day. The Dart is $29 a day. You cannot rent a car from a rental car agency anywhere near those prices, which is wild. And the Durango is $77 a day. I think the Porsche price is right in line with what it should be. You can't rent a Suburban for that. You can't rent an SUV from a rental car agency for that price, really. So I thought it was a good deal. If people don't want to pay it, it's not my loss because I like driving the car. Now the Durango is rented out right now too, and that's really what today's update is about. A customer has it and it broke. In a bad way too, that we didn't think was going to happen. So he's bringing it back here right now. I mean, it's not like fully disabled, but it is time to stop driving the car, and I'm really happy the customer wasn't on some massive road trip across country. And it's crazy because I just bought this thing from a dealership. And like, how do they let it out the door and it break like 5 minutes later? But of course they didn't fix the recalls either. So anyway, we'll talk more about that here in a minute. Turo as a whole, I almost quit doing it about 2 days ago. The only thing that was really running out is the Dart. Goes out a lot, and I'm not worried about it when it's out there or anything like that. But the Dart doesn't make enough money for me to actually keep doing this because it's a huge hassle. So I have to come here, and people want to pick up the cars at all times of the day. You can set your hours. My hours are set to, I think, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's when you can pick up and drop off cars. And the main thing it is served to do is mess up my workflow every day. So I wake up and I'm like, all right, time to edit a video or time to make a video. And then I got to get home and edit a video. But instead it's, now I have to meet somebody at the shop and there's nothing to do except sit around and clean for a few hours while I wait on them. So it's costing me a lot to do this, but I thought I was really going to enjoy owning a whole lot of cars and having a rental fleet. The problem with owning a whole lot of cars and allowing short rentals is they can be moving in and out all the time, so you're spending a bunch of time vacuuming and cleaning the cars and stuff like that. So it's a hassle if the cars aren't at home, and if you have anything else in your life to do, you have to schedule your time off in the app to make sure people can't book the cars in those times. I need to run to Oklahoma City and pick up a car, but on the same day somebody needs to, this guy needs to drop off that car. So it's just getting in the way. But that's a personal situation for me. It could work way better for you. Maybe you have a spouse that's at home all the time. They can meet people, drop off keys, clean the cars. I don't know, maybe you've got kids that run to do it. There's a whole lot of ways that this could work, and I'm still gonna keep doing it, but I'm just explaining the pain points. And the next pain point is we're not making that much money. So I spent $55,000 buying cars for this. I was like, we are going to go hard And as long as we clear something like $2,000 a month, we'll be doing great, right? I mean, every car, these cars, the cheap ones, will be paying themselves off like every 3 months, and we're just getting like free cars all the time. Instead, we've gotten, it hasn't been that long, I get it, it's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, $248 so far, and $700 in upcoming earnings. Although that's about to change when the Durango comes back here in a minute. I'm gonna have to delete a lot of that money, I think. So that's already a terrible deal. And I think overall, by the beginning of next year, somewhere like January 3rd, we'll have made about $1,400, somewhere in that range. So yeah, we kind of actually hit my money target in the first month. Not a bad deal. But like I said, it kind of encroaches on my time, everyone else's time, because sometimes the detailers have to meet people. You just need to be doing this full time. And to do this full time, you need way more cars. So first you need to make sure the market's there to keep the cars out all the time. I don't know. I've said from the beginning, that's a test in my market. If it was a tourism town, it's not a test. It just works. Guaranteed money. Here, it's really iffy because we're like a business travel town only. There's no tour. You don't come to Wichita for tourism. So really, I'm still kind of testing this out. I know there's quite a few cars here on Turo, about 25, 30, something like that. And a lot of them have a whole lot of rides. Actually, the Dart, by the end of like 2 weeks from now or whatever, the Dart will already have like 5 rides, and I should have made all-star host and all 5-star reviews pending the Durango issue here. And we'll keep testing this for a few more weeks, at least, and maybe a few more months. I think it could be good long-term. I just need to go buy a lot more cars, and I need to have somebody here full-time to manage it. So anyway, there's your Turo update. The Durango is out with a customer, and he was like, the left front wheel bearing's bad. And Tyler Potter and I drove it, shook the thing back and forth. The word never changed one bit, but he said if he turns the wheel all the way to one side and then pushes on the tire, he can hear it click back and forth, which in 100 miles of driving is crazy wear. I don't think it's even possible. I told him, I was like, hey man, we have checked this. I think it's safe, but if you're like, I'm totally fine with you bringing the car back. No worries at all. I think it's a fully bolt-on hub, which is awesome. That means we're only, what, like 8 bolts away from swapping the whole thing out in a few minutes. You know, pull the nut off the 4-wheel drive CV there, bang that in with a hammer, pull the brake off, drop the rotor, and well, obviously once the wheel's off, super easy job. I mean, should not take any time at all, as long as it's a full replacement hub. I hope it is. If it's a bearing, we got to press. Not a lot of money, just kind of an annoyance that I have to fix that, and it messed up this guy's trip. That's the part that really hurts you, is when somebody's like, hey, there's a problem with the car. I'll be back with you guys in just a moment when the Durango comes back, and we'll figure out what's wrong with it for real. One more thing, renting a bunch of cars out to people that are GPS tracked and being able to watch what cars are doing is a really crazy thing. I get like some people like come rent a car and drive like 900 miles in one day, which is nuts. And then some people rent a car and make like 50 stops in a day. Who drives like that? I make like 4 stops a day max. I eat, I'm here, back home. That's it. So it's pretty crazy to see other people's driving habits. And I can see how fast the car is going, all that good stuff. It's just kind of cool to have. I'm not going to talk about what the GPS is because it would make it easier to disable. Sorry, I know there's always a bunch of questions in the comments about what GPS tracking you're using. There's plenty of GPS trackers. You guys can figure it out. And another cool idea is AirTags, but AirTags do tell the customer that their iPhone is being like followed by an AirTag after 3 days. So it's kind of iffy to do that. I hate to like put a warning on someone's phone. The Turo terms of service say we can GPS track the car straight up, so just do that. All right, the Durango is back. Let's go drive this thing and see if it really does have some weird new noise. The customer said he turned the wheel all the way and then was able to kick the tire, push on the top of the tire, and hear a clunking sound, which would be a really aggressively bad wheel bearing. Okay, I don't hear anything swerving back and forth in the lane. I really think it's these tires. Tyler Potter and I both looked at this and we're like, those tires are just some cheap tires. Some of the loudest tires I've ever heard. I need to go somewhere where I can actually drive fast, I guess. But this seems totally fine. Totally fine. And I was really expecting to go buy a wheel bearing tonight and swap the thing out. Would have been a quick, easy repair. And he said there's vibration when you turn, which there always has been. It's all-wheel drive with a weird front end. Tyler told me I should change the transfer case fluid. that's a super easy job. It takes like 1 quart, 1.5 quarts, something like that. So I do want to do that. And I felt it's strange. It has like a little bit of a surge through the wheel when you're turning, not touching the brakes at all. The customer brought it back, said, I felt a vibration in the wheel while I was turning. I think it probably needs rotors. I don't think it needs rotors. I think this thing's just weird. I can stop and there's no like shake in the wheel or anything crazy. Not touching the wheel. It's gotta be going bad, but it just always sounds just like that. It's not a high-pitched metal-on-metal war or anything like that. It's just if you speed up, it goes away. When you're just at the perfect speed, it sounds like it could be a wheel bearing. Okay, so the guy said left front, which would be the driver's side. So show me that wheel bearing. I don't think that's the wheel bearing. I raised the Durango up even more so I can get more of a bite on this thing and really beat on it. But like in small movements, there's no real play there. Definitely nothing like this, which is what he was saying was happening. And the only way I get that clunking noise is by jerking the steering. The hubs look original. I don't see anything that's been replaced there. It might not be a bad idea to just do these hubs, but let's try the same thing again over here. Look, small movement, no play like I would expect. And then jerking it, I can get it to actually move back and forth pretty hard. I don't know. The noise when I was driving was fine. Same level that it always was. It wasn't getting worse or anything like that. I didn't find anything out of the ordinary that we hadn't covered before in the last video with a guy who knows these cars better than I do, that's for sure. He works on them day in and day out. He said front hub failures happen. They're not rare, but I don't think that's the case with this. We might have to throw them at it soon, but I don't think it's actually a problem right now. If you spin these things, the only thing you hear is brake drag. Same thing on the other side. We'll do it over there. Okay, passenger side wheel, more brake drag, I can tell you that. You can see the rotor's like blue. This is probably air in the braking system. Both calipers have been replaced in the front end. They have been chasing something down. The rotors are new. The thickness is amazing. Yeah, they're perfect. Brand new rotors, brand new pads. This caliper's new, the line's new, the caliper on the other side's new. It's rusted now, but you can tell it's been replaced within like the last year. The line's new. They went through everything in the front end. Brake drag over here for sure, but this is where I think the noise is when I'm driving it too. Well, good times. That made a $300 or $400 trip into a like a $60 trip, which is pretty unfortunate. But I get it. He thought there was a safety concern. I don't think there is. Once this thing's back on the ground, I'll give the tire a kick to see if I can find that it's like different loaded up. But I think we'll see the same thing we saw on the lift. And also I drove it around for 30 minutes, took it to dinner and everything like that, put quite a few more miles on it. Noise is fine, everything's fine. Trying to find this clunk from the wheel bearing there. That's the update on the Durango. I was hoping for it to be seriously broke and to have some part that I could just swap out and we could put it back in service. But honestly, I think it's just fine. It's just maybe being real sensitive about cars. I am too. I know I'm the same way, but well, I guess we'll see what the next renter has to say about the Durango. And I thought this was going to be the video I didn't want to make, where a car actually breaks on a customer or has a failure, and it's not it. We can't reproduce the issue, and it's hard to fix something when the problem doesn't present itself. I will probably bleed the whole brake system again just to see if we can solve what clearly somebody was trying to troubleshoot on that brake. But we've driven this thing lots of highway miles and not had any issues. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjargo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Come on, Durango, brake. Let me know what's going on with you.